Hi, kindergarten students. It's Mrs. Gallagher. I have one of my favorite stories here called Chrysanthemum, and it's written by the author Kevin Henkes. I heard that everyone in class is learning to become bucket fillers. So this story is a really good story about how we can fill or dip someone's bucket. And I know that in this class, we only want to be bucket fillers. So let's find out how we can be bucket fillers. Chrysanthemum. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect. Oops. Let's look at the picture of Chrysanthemum. Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. She grew and grew and grew. And when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. And she loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way it looked when she wrote it on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. On the first day of school, Chrysanthemum wore her summer dress and her brightest smile. Make sure you're wearing your brightest smile. Can I see it even beneath the mask? She ran all the way. Hooray, school! But when Miss Chud took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing her name. Is that being a bucket filler? I think that's dipping her bucket. So I have a heart here, and I'm going to put a little fold in the heart. Because they were saying something that wasn't nice. They were laughing at her, and she doesn't look happy. It's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on your name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. You're named after a flower. I'm going to put another little wrinkle in the heart. Because they're really not saying nice things to her. I don't think that's making her heart happy. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Miss Chud that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. That's exactly half as many as the alphabet. Thank you for sharing with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chud. Now rest. I'm going to put another wrinkle in this heart, because I don't think Chrysanthemum's heart is very happy right now. If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, said Victoria. I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. She doesn't look happy at all. I'm going to put another wrinkle in this pretty heart. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long, and I'm named after a flower. Oh, pish, said her mother. Your name is beautiful, and precious, and priceless, and fascinating, and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. Absolutely perfect, said her father. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup, and everything. The evening was filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. Now she looks happy because her parents are filling her bucket. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane. It was a pleasant dream. The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. She walked to school as slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, 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 she wrote. See, she's writing her name in the dirt. She even looks like a flower, said Victoria, as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, said Rita, pointing. Let's smell her, said Joe. Are they being nice to Chrysanthemum here? Or are they being bucket dippers? I think they're being bucket dippers. I'm going to put another wrinkle in this heart. See what happened to the heart? There's a lot of wrinkles in it now. Poor Chrysanthemum. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, "A chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in a garden with worms and other dirty things." "Thank you for sharing with us, Victoria," said Miss Chudd. "Time for rest." "I can't believe your name," Victoria said to the students as they lined up to go home. "Neither can I," thought Chrysanthemum. They are not being kind. So another wrinkle is going into this heart. "Welcome home," said her mother. "Welcome home," said her father. "School is no place for me," said Chrysanthemum. "They said I even look like a flower, and they pretended to pick and smell me." "Oh, pish," said her mother. "They're jealous." "And envious," said her father. "Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours? After all, it's absolutely perfect." Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting, and another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. See here, they're filling her bucket and she's happy. That night, she dreamed that she was really a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria picked her and plucked the leaves and petals until there was nothing left but a stem. It was the worst nightmare ever. I feel so bad for Chrysanthemum. The next day, she wore her outfit with 7 pockets. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. She stopped and stared at each and every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 they seemed to say. What's happening here? I notice a different teacher in the room. That morning, the students were introduced to Mrs. Twinkle, the music teacher. Her voice was something out of a dream. It was everything. The students were speechless. They thought Miss Twinkle was an indescribable wonder. They went out of their way to make a nice impression. Mrs. Twinkle led the students in scales. Then she assigned roles for the class music hall. Victoria was chosen as the dainty fairy queen. Rita was chosen as the spiffy butterfly princess. Joe was chosen as the all-important pixie messenger, and Chrysanthemum was chosen as the daisy. That would be fun to put on a play. "Chrysanthemum's a daisy, chrysanthemum's a daisy," the children said. Chrysanthemum wilted. I don't think that's very nice. I think I'm going to put another wrinkle in this heart. "What is so humorous?" asked Mrs. Twinkle. "Chrysanthemum," was the answer. "Her name is so long," said Joe. "It scarcely fits on her name tag," said Rita. "She's named after a flower." "My name is long," said Mrs. Twinkle. "It is," said Joe. "It would scarcely fit on a name tag," said Mrs. Twinkle. "It would?" "Yes, and I'm named after a flower, too. My name is Delphinium. Delphinium Twinkle, and if my baby's a girl, I'm considering naming her Chrysanthemum." Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed, she beamed, she bloomed. Is that filling her bucket? Definitely. She's happy now. Mrs. Twinkle is filling her bucket. Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at her longingly. "Call me Marigold." "I'm Carnation," said Rita. "My name is Lily of the Valley," said Victoria. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. So in the end, was she happy? She was. So some of the wrinkles came out of her heart. But look at the paper. I can still see the wrinkles. So this will remind us that we should all be bucket fillers and we should all say kind things to our friends because we don't want to put any wrinkles in their heart. And if we dip someone's bucket, we could wrinkle their heart. So let's think before we speak to our friends and make sure that we are always being bucket fillers. Have a great day.